Hey everyone, and welcome to Tech Talk Central. Today we're jumping into a pretty interesting comparison, looking at two popular BenQ short throw projectors, the TK710STi versus the X500i. I'm Nathan.
And I'm Sarah. Yeah, we've been digging into those specs, user reviews, all that good stuff to basically figure out the key differences and, help you decide which of these 4K projectors might be the right one for your gaming setup or home theater.
Okay, let's kick things off with the BenQ TK710STi. Straight away, you're looking at 4K UHD resolution. It also supports HDR10 and HLG.
Right, those HDR formats really help with the contrast, getting more detail in bright spots and shadows.
Exactly. But maybe the biggest headline feature here is the light source. It's laser, and it pushes out, get this, 3200 ANSI lumens. That sounds really bright.
It is really bright, and that high lumen count, it's pretty significant. It means the TK710STi can handle rooms that aren't perfectly dark, like watching stuff during the day, maybe some sunlight coming in. That brightness helps the picture still look punchy, not all washed out. Plus, it covers 95% of the Rec. 709 color space.
Which is the standard for most Blu-rays and streaming content.
Ah.
So accurate colors for everyday viewing.
Pretty much. It's aiming to be that versatile living room projector.
Makes sense. And what about for gaming? Because I see it has a really low response time listed, 4 meters at 1080p, 240 hertz.
Yeah, that's incredibly fast. For gamers, especially playing fast-paced titles, that kind of responsiveness is, well, it's crucial. You don't want noticeable lag.
Definitely not. And it's short throw, too. Needs about 6 feet for a 100-inch screen.
Roughly 6 feet. That short throw is a big plus, especially in smaller rooms. Fewer shadows from people walking past, easier placement.
So what are people actually saying about it? The user feedback.
Generally pretty positive on the image quality front. Lots of praise for incredible colors, deep blacks, and yeah, that brightness gets mentioned a lot for daytime use. Clarity seems to be a highlight too.
No visible pixels, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And folks gaming on big screens like 120 inches seem really happy with the performance.
Okay, picture sounds great.
Yeah.
What about getting it set up? Smooth sailing.
That's where it's a bit more mixed. Some found it easy, others maybe not so much. And there's an interesting trade-off for gamers.
Oh, yeah.
To hit that absolute lowest 4 meters response time, you need to use its fast mode. But engaging fast mode disables the keystone correction.
Ah, okay. So Keystone lets you fix a tilted image if the projector isn't perfectly square to the screen.
Right. So if you want that super low latency, you kind of need to nail the physical placement of the projector. No digital fixes available in that mode.
Good to know. I also saw a note about models made after November 2024 having some improvements. Better sharpness, less noise.
Yeah, that's an important detail. It seems BenQ might have tweaked things. Earlier feedback sometimes mentioned focus not being perfectly even across the screen, or fan noise being a bit loud in normal mode.
And occasional signal glitches.
Right, though at least one user said a replacement unit fixed those initial glitches, so maybe some early batch variations, perhaps. But the remote control, that seems to be a definite plus now. Bluetooth connection.
Much better than IR,
Yeah.
usually. Okay, so TK710STi, super bright, great colors for standard stuff, good for gaming, but maybe watch out for fan noise and that keystone limitation in fast mode.
That's a good summary. Now let's pivot to the BenQ X500i. Also true 4K UHD, but it uses HDR Puro, which is BenQ's implementation, and the light source is different too.
Right, this one uses 4 LED, not laser, and the brightness is lower, around 2200 ANSI lumens.
Yeah, noticeably less bright than the TK710STi, but 4 LED often comes with benefits like potentially very long lamp life. Up to 30,000 hours is sometimes quoted for LED sources.
Wow, that's huge. Less maintenance. And color-wise, it mentions DCI-P3 coverage.
84% DCI-P3 cinematic color. DCI-P3 is a wider color gamut than Rec. 709.
So potentially richer, more vibrant colors, especially for newer movies and games mastered for that wider range.
Exactly. It leans a bit more towards that cinematic look.
Yeah.
And it's also short throw, needing maybe 5 to 7 feet for a 100 to 120-inch image. Still great for smaller rooms, like bedrooms, maybe.
Yeah, very similar throw range. Now, gaming-wise, it also has that low 4 meters response time at 1080p 240 hertz. But it seems to have some extra gaming features baked in.
It does, yeah. It has an auto game mode that's pretty neat. It detects if you've connected an Xbox, a PS5, or a Switch and tweaks the settings automatically.
Oh, that's convenient.
Very. Plus, it supports EARC and SPDIF audio outputs. That means it can pass through higher quality audio like 7.1 channel or even Dolby Atmos to a compatible sound system.
Ah, better audio potential then, even though it has its own speakers too. Dual 5-watt, I think.
Right, to a 5-watt.
Yeah.
And it has this quirky little feature called an FPS crosshair, which overlays an aiming reticle on screen for shooter games.
Okay, so it really seems to be courting the console gamer. How's the user feedback on the X500i?
Mostly really positive. People seem to love the picture quality, and interestingly, the setup is often described as very straightforward, perhaps more consistently than the TK710STi.
That auto console detection probably helps there.
I think so. And users say 4K HDR movies look incredible. The built-in speakers are rated as, okay, but most reviewers recommend using a proper soundbar or surround system.
Makes sense for a cinematic experience. Any other positives?
Yeah, the long lamp life gets mentioned, and its relatively compact size and lower weight make it feel a bit more portable, if that's a factor for you. And again, low input lag gets consistent praise for gaming.
Sounds pretty solid.
Yeah.
Any downsides pop up in the reviews?
A couple of things. One user reported a kind of washed out, uneven picture, but that seems like a rare exception, maybe a faulty unit.
Okay.
Another noted seeing the rainbow effects sometimes, which can happen with DLP projectors in high contrast scenes, though it affects people differently. Fan noise can apparently be noticeable at full brightness in 4K, but quieter in eco mode.
And the built-in speakers might struggle with deep bass.
Yeah, a little rattle reported with low notes. Again, reinforcing the idea that an external audio solution is probably best.
Right. Okay, so we've gone through both.
Yeah.
If you had to boil down the key differences for someone choosing between them.
I'd say number one, brightness. The TK710STi is significantly brighter, making it potentially much better if you have ambient light to deal with.
Yep.
Number two,
Oh.
color focus. TK710STi nails the standard Rec. 709, while the X500i aims for that wider, more cinematic DCI-P3 gamut. Depends on what you watch most.
Got it. What else?
Gaming features. Both are fast, but the X500i has those specific console-friendly features like auto game mode and the crosshairs. Might appeal more to dedicated console players.
Yeah, audio.
The X500i has the edge with EARC support for potentially better sound pass-through to an external system, though its built-in speakers are maybe just okay.
And portability. X500i is a bit smaller and lighter.
Yep. So it really comes down to weighing those factors.
So it sounds like if you absolutely need maximum brightness, maybe for a living room that gets some daylight, the TK710STi is probably the way to go.
I'd lean that way, yes. Its brightness is a major advantage there.
But if your priority is maybe more focused on console gaming, you like those dedicated features, want that wider color for movies, and maybe prefer a slightly more compact unit, the X500i looks like a really strong alternative, especially if your room is reasonably light-controlled.
Exactly. You need to think about your specific room, what you'll primarily be watching or playing, and of course, check the current pricing. Both are clearly very capable 4K short-throw projectors.
Absolutely. Well, we hope this comparison has helped shed some light on the BenQ TK710STi and the X500i for you.
Yeah, hopefully giving you a better idea of which might fit your needs.
To find the latest prices and deals, definitely check out the links we've put in the description below.
And if you found this deep dive useful, we'd love it if you subscribe to the channel, Tech Talk Central, for more tech comparisons and reviews like this one.
Thanks for tuning in.